Hey, what's up guys? It's Rick with the Digital Divide. I'm a fan of all things horror. My favorite time of the year is Halloween, my favorite genre of movie is horror, my favorite genre of video game is horror. I've just been obsessed with all things spooky since I was a kid, and I've just always been that way. So today I want to go over some retro horror-themed video games that I grew up playing, and if you haven't tried, you should definitely check out. Alright, so at number one we've got Fear. This is a first-person perspective horror game. You are part of a specialized team that tracks down and hunts supernatural entities. And this game has a lot of jump scares. The graphics were absolutely beautiful at the time. You're chased by this girl that kind of looks like the girl from The Ring, if you've seen that movie. This game holds up amazingly well today and was one of my favorite scary games that came out on the PC back in the day.
Jin, we need you up here.
On my way.
Looks like we're too late, boss. Just leftovers.
So second game I want to talk about is Friday the 13th for the original Nintendo. This game came out back in 1988, and you select one of several campers, and you basically walk around the camp fighting off zombies and other creatures. At first glance, it doesn't look scary, and during the day, it's really not, but when you're like a 5 or 6-year-old kid playing this game, and it turns into nighttime, this game actually got really spooky, because there are some sections of the game where you have to go inside of houses to explore, and you never know if you're going to run into Jason Voorhees or if the house is going to be empty, and if you run into him, you have to fight him, and most of the time he would just kill you immediately, so there was a lot of tension there as a little kid.
Led him along another path towards black magic. Now he is in possession of the mythical Lost Diary of Samuel Pepys, a volume that contains the detestable rituals of the demon-worshipping Brotherhood of Hecate. Soon, he will complete his work. Tonight, as the sun sets on London one last time, he will unleash his demonic brood onto the streets. And should no one stop him, this city will be consumed by a horde of nightmare creatures.
So Nightmare Creatures might be one of my favorite games on this list. It was absolutely mind-blowing at the time it came out. They had all these really subtle effects, like the leaves coming down, as you can see here. You were fighting werewolves, zombies, all kinds of monsters, and this I played on the original PlayStation 1. So at the time, this was super impressive stuff, and you know, Nintendo wasn't doing a lot of mature-themed games. There were only a handful on their consoles at the time, but I really, really love this game. It takes place from a third-person perspective. There's a lot of like complete dismemberment, which is the first time I think I've seen that in a game, but I can't recommend this one highly enough, and I think it did get a sequel or two. So the next game I want to talk about is the original Doom, released on PC in December of 1993. A lot of people are probably gonna be like, "Why is this on the list?" I gotta tell you, when I played this, I was a kid, and it was absolutely terrifying because the game is incredibly dark. So for the most part, you're walking around in complete pitch blackness, and there's just satanic symbols everywhere and monsters hiding around the corner. Ammo is incredibly sparse in this game, so you're always fighting to get more ammo. And if you turn a corner, you never know what's going to pop up in front of you. The sound effects were really great at the time, and I think this definitely qualifies as one of the best retro horror games. So Eternal Darkness is a really interesting game. It's one of the few R-rated or mature-rated games that were released on the GameCube, and it takes place from multiple perspectives and multiple time frames. Essentially, you're wandering this mansion and you're reading chapters of books, and every time you do that, you kind of get to play as the character from that time. And the game has a really cool insanity meter, so that when you start going insane, the game kind of messes with you. There's it'll make you think that the game crashed or that it erased your saved game on the memory card, and do all kinds of cool stuff that just mess with your head. The graphics were super impressive at the time, and it's got a really creepy vibe.
Help me, Grandpa. I can't take this anymore.
Don't be so weak, Alex.
Next game I want to talk about is Splatterhouse. This came out on the arcade and the TurboGrafx 16, I believe, in 1988. Now, this was a side-scrolling beat-em-up, but it is insanely violent. Like, going back and grabbing this footage, I was blown away how graphic it is. If you look at some of the characters in the background, they're just like dismembered humans and stuff. This was a really creepy game back in the day, and the protagonist took clear inspiration from Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th series.
People are scared. We need to get this one. Follow me. Body's this way.
So next game I want to talk about is Condemned: Criminal Origins. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this was a launch game on the original Xbox 360, and that's where I played it. And at the time that this came out, I had never played anything so immersive before. The graphics are super impressive. Even now, there's a ton of variety in the game. You're actually going to crime scenes, collecting evidence and solving crimes. There are guns in the game, but for the most part, that's not the focus because ammo is incredibly hard to find. I mean, literally, you only find like maybe 2 or 3 bullets in a level, so you have to hold on to those. Most of the combat is melee-based, but this was a really atmospheric, spooky game when it came out, and it's so good.
You should kill me, Pete!
Goose. Whoa!
What the
fuck is this shit?
It's an earthquake.
What the hell's going on?
The internet.
CO, you gotta let us out. We're still humans, man.
The whole
we got
fucking
rights.
place is coming down!
Sweet Jesus, what the hell was that?
Slick, you okay,
Is the
man?
prison collapsing? Are we sinking into the ocean? CO! CO! What the hell's going on?
Slick, what in the fuck just happened? Slick! Slick! Goose, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. And it wasn't me, if that's what you're thinking. I didn't touch that!
What was that? Goose?
Give us this day our daily bread.
For fuck's
Forgive us
sake,
our
what's
trespasses,
going on?
as we forgive those who trespass against us.
That was close. I thought we were done for. We gotta get out of this shit can before it collapses. Shit. There's something in here. It's in here! Help me! No!
So Suffering is one of my favorite horror games ever. I remember playing this on the original Xbox, PlayStation 2 era of consoles. It's so creepy.
Inmate, back in your cell. Everything's under control.
The game takes place from a third-person perspective. You're a prisoner stuck in jail. You're accused of killing your wife and child. That's why you're in jail. But that's part of the mystery, kind of figuring out if you really did or not. And all kinds of weird stuff happens throughout the game. I can't recommend this enough, and it did get a sequel as well.
There's a way out over here. Follow me.
In D, you play as the daughter of the doctor who goes insane at his hospital and goes on a mass killing spree. And you go to the hospital and find this portal that kind of sucks you into this old haunted mansion, and you have to figure out what's going on and why you're there. There's a lot of supernatural elements. The entire game takes place using CG, so this is all pre-rendered video, and you control it by hitting left, right, forwards, or backwards, and then the next video clip plays. So it's very much in the vein of something like Myst, or even like Dragon's Lair, but it's a really creepy game. And at the time, the production values were super impressive. It's much slower paced than a lot of other horror games, so it's not going to be for everyone. But if you have the patience for it, it's a pretty good game. saving the best for last, we have Alone in the Dark, the original Alone in the Dark that came out in 1995 for the PC and later got ported to the 3DO. This was the first survival horror game, and I remember playing this when I was a little kid. All of the characters and objects are 3D, polygonal rendered models, but the background is just a static two-dimensional image, very much like Resident Evil, which this game definitely inspired. It's got a really spooky vibe to it, even to this day. And I remember being obsessed with this game when it came out. I think I played it on MS-DOS, and it was on floppy disk or something like that. And as you can see, all the camera angles are fixed camera angles, just like Resident Evil. And again, the Resident Evil series was clearly inspired by this, but this was the first. And you know, today it doesn't look like it doesn't look like much, but it was really impressive at the time. It was one of the first polygonal games that I played back in the day. The combat really doesn't hold up, but the atmosphere definitely does. If you've never played this, they're making a new one soon. I would definitely check this one out just to get a bit of history of where the franchise came from. That's going to do it for me today, guys. As always, thanks for watching.